other anomalies?
Down there. Someone's in trouble. Set us down along the desert perimeter. It can't be a child. Are you all right? Can you hear me? He's still breathing.
Luarte. Luarte.
It's an ancient language.
Tend to him.
Right.
Yes, sir.
I don't see any serious injuries.
But he's dehydrated.
I thought the Forbidden Lands were uninhabited, sir.
It seems we must do a more thorough investigation. Let's do this.
Nothing so far.
Yeah.
Oh, hey there.
Hey! Over here! Yeah? Hey, Over here, Hunter!
Your reputation precedes you, Hunter. I trust you know what I've called you here to discuss.
Yes, sir. The Forbidden Lands?
Indeed. But more precisely about the boy we rescued in the vicinity. Entry to the region itself has been restricted for 1,000 years. We thought it completely uninhabited. Any remnants of its ancient civilization rest solely in historical record. Now imagine our surprise to have discovered this boy. He claimed to be part of a clan, the Keepers. He said they have a village in a land we thought uninhabited for ages. A few years have passed, but the Academy, of course, has remained skeptical.
This village. Is there evidence it exists?
Nothing absolute, but the mysterious composition of the boy's pendant suggests it might. And as for how we came to rescue the boy...
Sir?
It seems a certain monster had forced him to flee. It attacked his village, and he escaped alone. Unfortunately, the underground tunnel he used to make his escape collapsed. We found him, took him in, and here we are.
Do we know the status of the village?
Unknown.
And of the monster?
Unknown. However, the scholars hypothesize that it may be a monster, which we thought to have perished long ago.
An extinct species?
They're calling it the White Wraith. The Guild has authorized the rescue of the Keepers and an investigation into this monster. I've selected you as a lead hunter for this expedition.
Thank you, sir.
Finding the village won't be easy. You'll need the proper guide. Speaking of which, I have an extra assignment for you.
Hello, my name is Alma. Come on. It's okay. How are you? Great. As soon as we find a good spot, we can get things set up and ready to go. And then we can get started.
This is gonna be great!
You bet.
Yeah.
I hope we find them soon.
Look!
Time to part!
Aye!
There's so many.
They're exceptionally agitated. Could they be chasing something? It's a person!
Bring us closer!
And crash right into them!
We're still too far away!
Hold on. What's that?
That's all right.
Can you reach it?
I have to try.
I'm coming too!
Hold on.
We gotta save that girl. Don't think we can make it through there. But we can go over.
Looks like it knows a way.
She's in trouble.
I know what to do. Get out of here.
I'll cover you. Yeah, right on target. On your flank. Look at all of them! On the rocks, too!
I bet we can bring those squads down.
Hey, this way!
Look, the others! Our company!
Roger! I need this! Throw it now!
Here. You're okay now.
Smooth.
Hey!
Hey, it's okay. You're safe now.
Yo.
So much for this region being uninhabited.
It must be a type of flightless.
Isai. He's still in trouble. Isai? We were doing sacred practice. But then it came. And my brother, he...
What came? One of the things that was chasing you earlier? It's okay. And your brother, where is he?
He told me to run. And he stayed.
Sounds like trouble, yeah?
Can you tell us where he is?
The sacred. He knows Isai sent.
Let's find him.
I'm with you. Everyone else, focus on scouting for a campsite.
Understood. Just send a signal if you need backup.
We'll leave some supplies for you. I'll keep an eye on these two.
We're moving out. Coming.
Please, take these people.
We're counting on you.
Come with me, okay? Don't worry, I'll be back soon.
Okay.
Come on. Be careful out there!
We will! Later!
We should prepare a bit, just in case.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Have you decided on a weapon? If you answer a few questions for me, how would you describe... And what do you look for in a weapon? If mobility is your first priority, then this weapon might be a good match. Wonderful. In that case, equip yourself and we'll be on our way.
You can try out your weapon over here.
Once you've got a feel for the weapon, we'll head out.
We can head back to camp if you need to change your weapon.
Have you chosen your weapon?
want you to know, Tony, and that's what me and Game Ranks are here for. I'm from Delvin, and today, 10 things you need to know about Monster Hunter Wilds. Starting off with number 10, this is truly an open world Monster Hunter. This is the big one. It's something fans of the series waited for a long time now. They've finally done it. Yeah, you have seamless travel between the hunting village and the field without any loads. That's right, the village is just a part of the same big map now, and every major region is connected, so you can travel from one region to the next just by walking there, which is actually the first in the series. These regions are really big, too, about 2 to 3 times bigger than the locations in Monster Hunter World. Look at the map for the starting zone. The Windward Plains, that place is gigantic, much more natural looking open environments. They're mixed in with the more narrow monster looking paths and side tunnels. Just to be clear, it's not like Breath of the Wild or anything. You can't literally go everywhere and down to things. The regions are separated by a loading screen, so you can't seamlessly travel between absolutely every area, but each region will have at least one main camp along with a lot of smaller villages dotted around the map, so kind of open zone, kind of open world, much more open world than it was before, though. You can't just climb everywhere either. It is a lot bigger in scale, but it's the same Monster Hunter at its core, so your movement is a little limited by terrain. It's pretty much identical to Monster Hunter World. Unfortunately, it doesn't incorporate some of the fancy movement options with Rise. It's actually something I kind of wanted from it, but it does incorporate at least a little more of the verticality, so by design these locations are going to feel right at home to Monster Hunter World veterans. So far, the locations we know about are, like I said, the Windward Plains, then there's the Scarlet Forest, the Oil Well Basin, and the Ice Shard Cliffs, all with their own unique monsters and challenges to navigate. As per the developers, the game is trying to move away from the old excursion model where you select a mission, off the quest board, go on a hunt, and then come back to town. They want to encourage players to explore and more deeply engage with everything else the game has to offer. There's a whole lot going on in the open world, too. There's changing weather patterns that can affect monster behavior. There's camps that act as fast travel points, but this time they can actually be destroyed and require upkeep to make them functional. And to make getting around the maps easier, they finally introduced a fully 3D map that looks a lot more functional than the old 2D maps that got kind of confusing, especially when things did get vertical. It doesn't make much of a difference for the mostly flat Windward Plains map, but I'll bet it'll be useful for later areas. They're a lot more complicated and vertical, like the Ice Shard Cliffs in particular. I think those are going to be a little confusing, so a 3D map should help out quite a bit. And number 9 is the new mount. Like I said, there are some things in Rise that are coming over, and they're taking a few from that. There's dedicated mountain wilds. A lizard-like thing called a secret. I know, very novel. Whatever. Can be used to quickly travel around and assist in combat. It's generally just helpful to have around. One unique quirk of these things is they automatically travel towards your objective, so you just jump on its back and it'll immediately travel to wherever you need to go. It's possible to take control and go wherever you want, but by default, it's following the trail. Just from playing the beta, it seems pretty handy. Being able to summon it and automatically mount it up without really having to use a lot is really useful in the middle of the fight, and as you'd expect, it can perform a special dismount attack, and that can be pretty devastating if it's timed right. There's one more function these things have, but I'm saving that for its own entry because this last thing is a real game changer. So at number 8, you can now carry a secondary weapon seriously. For the first time in the series, you can bring another weapon you had stored in secret, which is the big thing. You see why it's safe for its own point. And you can swap between your primary and secondary weapons at any time while you're riding the secret. No more having to go back to town to get that weapon you needed for a specific hunt. Now you bring 2 weapons with you and you switch between them. Cannot be understated how big of a deal this is in Monster Hunter. Now there's a reason to focus on more than one weapon type because you might actually get the chance to use something different once in a while. Bringing a close-range weapon and a projectile or something might not necessarily be the most earth-shaking thing. You might have something light, you might have something heavy, it doesn't really matter. But having the option is massively liberating. I know it sounds super basic, but for Monster Hunter, it's legitimately massive. you have the mount, you can have 2 weapons instead of 1, which is great. And number 7 is focus mode. So combat feels pretty different on account of a new mechanic called focus mode. It's sort of like aiming in a third-person shooter, only now you can do it with everything including melee weapons. It sounds bizarre, I know. I hate it actually, but it works surprisingly well. The idea here is that you can more easily target monster weak points using focus mode and directly aiming at certain points on the monster. You'll attack wherever you're aiming on the reticle, and while in this mode, you always face the same direction as the camera, and when you attack, you're hitting what you're aiming. You can also guard in whatever direction you're aiming to, so it's easier to defend against certain attacks. Wounds play a key part in this whole thing. When you attack a monster, you generate wounds, which are highlighted when you're in focus mode. You direct your attacks against those spots, series again with the monster. There's also new focus strikes, which are special attacks that are just for focus mode, you might have guessed. But they can deal massive damage against monsters, like breaking weak points or destroying tools, stunning the monster, and making vulnerable for that. Focus mode is a big question mark at the moment, though. I'm not sure if it's going to completely change how people play Wilds, or is it maybe something you do once in a while? I'm not sure. It is not necessarily something you have to do the whole time. From my time with the beta, it did seem useful, but maybe a little situational. But it's also going to need time to fully assess. It's interesting, but I hope it doesn't completely upend how combat works in the wild. I do like monster combat, obviously, I think we all do. That's why we're here. And number 6, there's entire herds of monsters now. The maps may be bigger, but they're definitely not empty. In wild, monsters aren't necessarily solitary creatures. Sometimes they come in entire packs with their own alphas, or especially rough. In this game, major hunts on all these where now sometimes critters bring entire pods. This could easily be overwhelming because monsters don't just fight well. They can use certain herd tactics to combat you. But there's also cool separate monsters from the pack, like huge dung piles you can shoot at monsters, which cause all the other nearby ones to flee, because the one is now covered in crap. Get it? That's not the only thing that's going to make monsters more formidable in the wild. According to developers, overall monsters are going to have more health and a higher flinch than in World. They don't want to make the fights more tedious, so I think your player character is also a lot stronger now, so I guess they're evening the playing field there a little. I don't know. We're going to see exactly how that works out. And number 5 is the weapons. All 14 weapons in the world are back. Nothing new, just all the same stuff we got last time. Every weapon has been given a once-over by the design team. They do feel new. They're nice looking. A lot of the weapons have been seriously reworked, so they're more flexible than the others. Tons of combos, special abilities, gimmicks. It does make them more fun, more overall depth. Just from playing around with weapons in the beta, they feel a little faster than they used to. Combat definitely faster in Wild than in World, but not quite as speedy as Rise. It's sort of a middle ground where weapons still feel powerful and heavy, but you're a little more responsible overall. The Slinger is back, of course, and it can do everything it could before, but with an awesome new ability where you grab things from the environment from far away, so you can grab healing bugs without having to get close or grab pods far away, and start shooting immediately. I said shark there. I'm leaving that one in. I said shark. Shark is a funny word. Hope the editor leaves that one. What was I saying? Besides shark. Oh yeah, you can grab healing bugs and pods and stuff from far away. Start shooting immediately. Start shooting right away. You know what I was trying to say. This streamlines the process of loading up ammo into the Slinger. It makes it a lot easier to use in the heat of battle. Right back on track, though. Good work. On top of the other combat mechanics I've already covered, there's a few more, like Power Clash, which happens when you block certain attacks. It's basically a power struggle between a player and the monster. There's also offset attacks, which can happen when you hit a monster as it's attacking. It's risky, but if you hit him for a time, it'll not damage. It'll leave open to a powerful counter attack. Good stuff. And number 4, let's talk a little bit about 4-player co-op here. So for the most part, multiplayer works pretty much the same as in World. You can still call for help using an SOS flare and form groups of up to 4 players simultaneously. The one big change is that the SOS flare can now be used offline, which calls in 3 NPC hunters to help you fill out the roster. Obviously, these guys they're not as good as a field person per se, but it's a welcome option either way. I don't see the servers going down anytime soon. I mean, World still has active multiplayer, but this sort of future-proofing is always something I would like to see, obviously. Someday, certain multiplayer-focused hunts will be rendered impossible, or at least mostly impossible for normal people in the World, but in the Wilds, even when the player base is moved on, they'll still be able to experience everything in the game. Maybe they should patch this in the World, just for the sake of it, though. Just saying. And number 3, armor is no longer gender locked. This is one that people have been requesting for a really long time now. They finally made it so your character can just wear whatever armor you want. What's cool about this game is they're not changing how armor works in any way. They're just making it so that regardless of what 3D model you choose at the beginning of the game, you can just equip it however you want. It's no longer gender specific. So there's 2 versions of every armor. They're not like censoring the game. They're just giving the player the option, and that's good. And number 2, broken parts auto loot now. Might sound small, but seriously, thank you like a ton to Capcom for this one. I can't stress this enough. There's nothing more frustrating in old games than managing to break a specific part you kind of desperately need, but you want and you lose track of it. You cut off a tail, you kill the monster, Trevor knows bad, hard as you go into the mission, time you might end up in the wrong direction and get nothing. It's awful. This is a much more forgiving option. If you go through the trouble of breaking a monster horror, why not just get the material? It does streamline the game, yes, and sometimes people complain about streamlining, but I'm going to argue that you're streamlining it in a very good way. Old school things like trying stuff like this is kind of fangirls, but I don't care. Give me the loot. It's, as far as I'm concerned, the right thing to do. Good by the monster hunter fans that have shit to do. You know, thank you, Capcom. Thank you for doing this, seriously. And finally, at number 1, Monster Hunter Wilds release date sure closing in. It's officially releasing on February 28th. PS5, Xbox Series, and PC, both on Steam and the Epic Games Store. Also, it is not coming to PS4. It's current Genesis. Also, no Switch, but it's rumored that it's coming to Switch too. We don't know that's happening purely. Now, if you're interested in getting the game on PC, be sure to check out the system requirements and download the benchmark tool. If this game is a beast, no pun intended, the system requirements might not look bad on paper, but I mean the recommended settings are they're modest sounding points for get the game running. But that's the lower power. Making frame gen requirements to get decent FPS. That makes me a little worried about how the game is going to perform on screen. I think the beta didn't feel with a ton of confidence in terms of performance. Capcom hasn't really been one for launching from a stage lately. Hopefully they get that performance under control. Pretty much everything else about one pretty bang on, amazing, good stuff. So yeah, that way it's something good stuff. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, for playing, bringing videos every day of the week. That's what it's first. Of course, subscription. Don't forget to enable the notification. And as always, thanks for watching this video. I'm back with you to follow on Twitter and for Beyond Cameo. And see you next time right here on Game. And it's finally releasing, but there's a lot of stuff you are not going to know unless you watch this video. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on GameRank's 10 Things Monster Hunter Wilds doesn't tell you. Starting off with number 10, we're going to tell you how capturing monsters can be made. It takes a long time before Wilds actually explains how to catch monsters rather than just kill them. I mean, seriously, they don't give you a mission to actually catch anything until after the credits roll. That's how long it takes. There's nothing stopping you from doing it, though. It works exactly the same way it did back in World. You wait until the monster is almost dead, and then you slap down a pitfall trap or a shock trap. Then, when they're caught, you stand next to them and throw down 2 or 3 trank bombs. For most of Monster Hunter's history, the actual mechanics of a monster being captured have been pretty vague. You just kind of have had to hope for the best most of the time. But with Wilds, they finally simplified things by just straight up telling you when a monster is ready to be caught. And I don't mean like inconsistent shouts from your Calico that you would get in World. This game makes it really clear when you can capture a monster. However, it's still a little hard to notice. While you're on a hunt, you'll know that a monster is ready to be captured when a little skull appears next to the monster's icon on the mini-map. And that tells you that they're about dead. Once the skull is there, trank bombs will work. I've tested pretty thoroughly, and I can pretty confidently say that if you see that skull, you will always capture the monster. In fact, the only time it doesn't work is when you're on a mission that does not let you capture anything. Usually the clue that you can only kill a beast on the mission you're on is in the quest description. If it says slay something, then capturing it's probably disabled. With Wilds, the rewards you get for capturing a monster aren't as high as in World, but it's still worth capturing over killing because there's a higher chance of getting rare materials, and also it just speeds up hunts in general. It's not 100% the thing you should always be doing because the rewards aren't significantly better, but especially in the latter parts of the game, ending hunts faster is enough to make capturing worth the extra resources that it takes to pull off. Because sometimes, I mean, there's some slugs. Not going to get spoilery, but there are a few. Right on the target. And number 9, sleeping herbs are going to be a problem, so here's where to get them. If there's going to be a one bottleneck to your capturing, it's going to be sleeping herbs. Stuff to make traps, plentiful, fine. Making trank bombs, however, a lot tougher. Especially because in Wilds, there's just no cultivation center or farm. You can't just automatically generate a ton of sleeping herbs. You have to go out into the world to find them this time around, and they're bizarrely rare. There's certain areas where they just flat out don't show up. My suggestion is to start looking for them early because you're eventually going to need a lot of them. The easiest and earliest place to farm these things is in the first area of the game, the Windward Plains. You can find 3 sleeping herbs in close proximity around Area 10. There's 2 by the river and 1 off on its own. The locations of these things never change, and they respawn after 15 in-game minutes, so it's easy to just keep coming back to the spot and collecting them whenever you got some free time. The other major area with sleeping herbs is in the 4th area, the Ice Shard Cliffs. They're spread out all over the place, but there's a lot of them there. It's the one location you spend the least amount of time in the game, so you might not realize there's so many there, but take a minute to look around. There is a lot of them. And number 8, when a monster grabs you, shoot it in the face. The name of this point 8, when a monster grabs you, shoot it in the face. It says it all. There are a few monsters that have grab attacks, can do devastating damage if you don't interrupt them. And in the chaos of the moment, it might seem like there's nothing you can do, but there is actually an effective counter for these attacks. Shoot them in the face. Don't bother trying to use your knife. It is mostly ineffective. Shooting is what actually works. I want to imprint this on you. Have some slinger ammo equipped, because if your slinger's empty, you're out of luck. So always try to have something loaded in your slinger, just in case a monster tries to grab you. It's the only real way to avoid damage, and it usually leaves the monster open to a counterattack, so as long as you're prepared, these attacks can be completely neutralized. second half of the game starts, a whole lot of side quests open up, including one from Calico Helper. You might be inclined to ignore if they want to perform things like run around and capture bigger ones, flash knives. But every time you do a Calico mission, it does unlock some extra function that your helper will perform during the battle, and they're all pretty helpful to some degree. The best is saved for the fourth request, where they just want to go on a hunt because they want to show off new tools.
We have a pilot thing put together. And it's my best work yet. Probably. See, I still haven't had a chance to try it in combat. Quest just got in. Go test it out?
It's a relatively easy mission that unlocks the crazy useful tool that Calico will use randomly from now on that just gets you free material off the monster, the Plunderer. By the time you unlock this thing, materials get quite a bit stingier. You need more of them, and they're hard to get, so any extra assistance is appreciated. You don't have to do anything. It requires no extra effort after unlocking, which is the thing that the Calico does from now on. And wow, is that useful to have. At number 6, there's more easy sources of damage in the wild, so you should use those. These games keep finding more and more ways to make hunts easier, and you really should take advantage of them. There's these environmental traps all over the place that do a lot of free damage. Monsters sometimes drop slinger ammo when they're damaged, and that can be highly powerful. There's ways to call in huntresses from your allies that can do a lot of free damage, or just stun a monster for a long time. All this stuff is super useful, but one of the oldest tricks in the book, and still one of the best, jumping on a monster's back. It is as exploitable as it has ever been, and it's just as much fun to do. Just lure a monster over to a spot with a ledge, and then jump on them. You do a lot of free damage and stun them for a while in the process. It's as effective here as it was in the world, and if anything, it's actually even easier to exploit. At number 5, you need Mandragoras. These mushrooms are some of the rarest and most sought after crafting materials in the game. They're required to make max potions, some ancient potions, amongst some other things that you are going to want. Like I mentioned above, there's no easy way to get stuff like this anymore, so you have to go out in the world and find it. In Wilds, your map is the best way to hunt these down. Just enter a region, open the map, scan around for any brown mushroom symbols you can find. Those are Mandragoras, and they're usually pretty rare. One easy one to farm early on is the Windward Plains right next to the campsite in Area 3. Just teleport there occasionally to grab a freebie that pops up 2 steps away from camp. Unlike sleep herbs, Mandragoras are everywhere, but there's usually only a few in any given section of the map. The one area where you'll find them kind of plentifully is the 5th and final region of the game. There's a large amount of these things there, so that's your best place to go if you really want to load up on max potions. Just look around a little. There's a few little secret areas where they're hidden away. Find those, and you'll be set for the late game. And number 4, collect as much stuff as you possibly can. I'm not talking about material or land, but you should be grabbing that. You already know that. It's obvious. Say, I shouldn't make up.
All right. Check out the sacred Hall of Sense.
These ones, just all the others. Random artifacts.
Wow, the sacred are quite intelligent. Give them a scent and they'll follow it on their own.
Basically, the question part next
They're fast, too.
Show up on that at all. You want to grab it. At first, let's very little land, spend guild points on, but by the late game, after the first set of credits roll, you'll get a whole lot of to use tracks, which lets you change the weather on the airline.
Did you hear that? It's coming from in there.
Let's just go ahead and say it. That's why it shouldn't be as amazing. It's something to your life. It's great. And every time it's glad you drop.
Down there.
No! Stay away!
just leave him.
I'll help. Hurry! Caution. Rubber, an amphibian type. Field authorized. Immediately neutralize this threat.
To attack.
looks like it's moving to a new area. You can use an SOS flare to call for support. The terrain there! I think we can use it in combat!
It's safe now.
There. Thank the winds.
Allow us to introduce ourselves.
Wait. Hold on. Did you really do that? There's no way you should have been able to. So, how?
We came because your sister said you were in trouble.
Nona! Where is she?
She's safe, don't worry.
We'll take you to her, all right?
Hey! You made it! What a fascinating creature.
Any trouble finding
So
us?
while in the first half,
None
gain
at all,
guild points are
thanks to
mostly
your flair.
worthless, by the second half, they're really useful, so the more you have, the better. Why not? Moving on
You
to
must
number
be
3,
Esau.
fishing the easy way. Sure, you can sit
Please,
around like a
this
chump, slowly catching fish one at a time,
Okay.
trying to figure out which lure to use on what kind of fish.
Hey, Hunter. Back already? Good
Or you
work.
can do the easy way. Just whip out the capture net,
sister's just
whip
over
it,
there.
and start blasting. Now you
worry,
catch the
Zach.
fish by the
Hurry.
boatload.
This is a pretty well-protected spot.
We could do a lot worse for an interim.
It's so much easier and faster than catching fish the normal way. There's no reason not to do it. The only downside is sometimes fish are too far away to catch with a net. As long as you can get close enough to it, they'll just use net. And it works underwater too, so any area where you can swim, get the net out and start grabbing fish. It gets you a ton of guild points and also resources for ammo, occasional scales, and sharpen weapons faster. There's no reason not to do it.
She's fine.
Now scram. Go. Back to your stations.
And there's no reason not to do it. Area where you can swim, get the net out, and start grabbing
didn't
fish.
properly
It
think
gets you a
before.
ton of guild points and also
Everything just happens so
resources
fast.
for making ammo, occasionally scales,
didn't know what to say.
sharpen weapons faster. There's no reason not to do it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And number 2 is unlocking material retrieval.
I'm
You know how I
sorry.
mentioned there's no
My
free
sister
ride
and I
for
are from a
items
nearby
in
village.
wilds? Well, there actually is. It's just closer to something like the Palico Expedition.
It's wonderful to meet you. I'm Alma. The others and I are here on a search. We're from a place far out west.
How did you end up in that situation back there?
Oh, it was all my fault. I was careless. I was helping Nona with riding practice, and a giant toad snuck up on us. I told Nona to run for it while I got its attention, but when my Sacred and I tried to get away, he slipped, and we fell into that cave. And so, who exactly are the two of you?
Oh, right. We must have really surprised you earlier.
Forgive me for my lack of understanding, but you use those tools? I've never seen anything like that before.
Back where we're from, specialists use these tools to protect others from large creatures. With the understanding that they're never to be brandished at other people, of course. Only those with special permission are allowed to use them.
Tools? Specialists? Permission? It's all new to me. But I'm just glad you were there.
Where's this village you say you're from?
It's just a short distance away by Sacred. Nona and I live there with our grandmother.
Would you happen to know of a tribe called the Keepers?
The Keepers? No, I don't. Sorry.
I see. Well, that's okay. We're actually helping our friend here find his home. His people. They're called the Keepers.
The Keepers, huh? Sorry. I don't remember ever hearing that name before. But our elder... she might know something.
Thanks for letting us borrow your sacred earlier. They were a tremendous help.
Did you train them in your village?
Yes. We raised them from eggs and trained them ourselves. They're invaluable to us as companions.
They're so intelligent. They really came through for us back there.
I know, right? They're great at sensing and avoiding trouble. And at remembering scents. But they're pretty tricky to handle. So not everyone's cut out for riding them. Take this guy, for example. He won't let just anyone ride him. He's almost too smart for his own good. So, when I saw him take to you so easily, I was really impressed. You must have a gift.
That won't do to keep you talking. Let's take a look at those wounds.
Why don't we have a look around base camp? Where should we go first?